Phoenix Down Radio is on the air.
Welcome, everybody, to Phoenix Down Radio, episode number 154. I'm your host, Klauss Nightbringer. Joining me this week, we have Taliz and Seyrr. What's going on, guys?
Everything at once, forever.
Everything all the time. Everything all the time.
I concur.
Such a good song.
It is.
So relatable.
No, I'm just concurring about everything happening at the same time. Because, yeah, it is. 100%. Somebody slow down this ride. I want to get off.
How is it October?
Yeah.
How is it October?
It's spooky season.
First it was September.
Shut up.
Well,
and then it's
January.
First it was March.
And then it was March, and then it was March, and then it was March.
Anyway.
Hi.
Yeah, it's been a quick year.
It's been a crazy couple of years already, but stuff's starting to get a little crazy. We'll talk about some of it, and coming up here in the news, I'm gonna change this real quick. We want to reach out to somebody. What have you been up to the last 2 weeks? Start with that.
I dropped out of college.
Man,
I'm kidding. I did actually. No, so I'm changing my my career, my degree focus. But because of the way the school is set up, there isn't an open spot in the focus that I want until January. So I have to take 3 months off and then I can come back. So instead of doing 12 months straight, I did 1 month. I'm taking 3 months off, and then I'm doing 11 months straight.
Okay, that's slightly more reasonable.
Yes. I mean, I would like to do the old school of like 2.5 months, a month off, 2.5 months, a month off. That's really nice, but that's not how school works. That's not how master's programs work. So that's not what I'm doing.
That does seem like a suboptimal way to run things. I don't know what's going on with that.
It is a little weird to do 2.5 weeks of work in 6 days every week for a year. That's gonna suck, but there's a goal at the end, so it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Also, I've decided to do the stupidest thing as far as anime viewing that I've done in a very long time. And mind you, I watched through all of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Over the summer. I've decided to watch the dumbest anime I've watched ever in my whole wide life. I'm going to watch the whole thing.
That's a high bar to clear.
In spite, I am going to watch it.
okay.
I'm watching Final Fantasy Unlimited.
Oh God! Oh no!
The Magun.
It's so bad! It's so bad! It's completely plottless. It makes no sense. There's no story. The animation's janky. I can't wait.
I want to remind you, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 800-273-8255. You don't need to go through this alone, man.
What? I didn't hate it.
It's like, I've watched worse, but like, it took a lot to find worse. This is some very plotless, janky stuff. But if you look at the cast and you look at the production teams, like, the people that were on it were really good. So, like, I'm kind of interested to see, like, what were we at in this era? Because, like, rewatching Naruto, I'm like, woof, this was made 20 years ago. Oh, it's very much in 4x3. Oh, plot development doesn't work that way in manga anymore. Like, it's kind of interesting to see some of the bits of it that have dated while still staying very timeless.
Some bits that are products of a certain era.
For sure.
See, if it was just for stupid anime stuff, I was going to talk about watching the entirety of Endless 8.
That's also
so worth it.
Well,
so good a troll.
Ravenheart 3, did you guys see the intro for the live-action Cowboy Bebop?
And I'm actually contemplating restarting my subscription to Netflix just to watch it. Yes, it looks pretty damn good.
So confession time, I've never seen Cowboy Bebop. Please don't kill me.
No, don't worry about it.
Now, kicking
I've watched like
Seyrr.
5 episodes.
Okay, guys, this is a solo podcast now. Just kidding.
No, I watched the 5 episodes because it's one of those shows that has something for everyone, which I hate. Like, I would rather it be focused on a thing that's really good. If it's a good thing that I don't care for, that's fine. but I'd rather things be focused, and Cowboy Bebop wasn't great. But the Fridge episode is fucking amazing. Out of context, you need to know nothing about the show. You can just watch the Fridge episode and it's fine.
And
Excellent.
the mushroom episode.
Mushroom episode is good.
I think that one's probably my favorite, though. That Fridge episode is definitely way up there. I can't wait to see how they tackle that one in live action. If they do something like that.
I'm excited. I'm excited. But yes, we did watch that one very hard. It does look really good. There's a side-by-side that they've already released for it. It's going to be something that I think we all approach very differently as a casual non-fan, as a didn't watch it, please don't kill me, and as a very big fan. We're all going to kind of approach that whole story in a unique way. I'm excited to talk about it later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess as long as we're covering stuff that we did over the last few weeks, besides go absolutely berserk with trying to keep up with everything for library reopening, we still don't know when in-person programming is happening, and they keep hearing different things and everyone is anxious. But besides that, I ended up crafting a whole bunch of Exarchic gear for a friend who is returning. He seems very happy with it.
Very cool.
Exarch gear does look really cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and I was like, yes, I can bring together all of the supply chain powers I have honed over the past whatever.
And also clear your inventory of crafting materials that you won't need 7 weeks from now.
Yeah, I've been doing a bit of that. Like, it is a traditional thing. It's like pre-expansion cleaning. Greet the new world with a nice empty gobby bag, or I guess it's not a gobby bag in this one. Is there a name for inventory?
I don't remember.
Oh god, what's my Chocobo saddlebags? I didn't even think about that. Oh god.
Seyrr, hey, I'm gonna make my life easier and less complicated. Immediately thinks about a thing that you've completely ignored for like 6 months.
To be fair, though, that's most people.
There's a lot of relic. There's a lot of partially completed relic weapons in here.
I think mine's just all my materia.
I have lots of fireworks in mine. Because you never know when you're going to need fireworks.
No, I like the idea of loading up your Chocobo saddlebags with fireworks and then send them charging in.
Hey, we're gonna fight this bomb.
Gotta cover, guys.
Seems bad. Fun to watch, but seems bad. 7 Deadly Streamers. Josh, make your own damn gear. He'll be fine.
Well, last weekend I helped a buddy build a computer.
Ooh.
It was actually quite fun. It was nice because when I got my new computer, I kind of missed out on most of that. I mean, I did go in and upgrade a number of pieces, already, but to build it from scratch is definitely something that everybody should try or experience at least once.
The last time I built a computer, hard drives were this big and about this thick.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
And about a tenth of the size as far as capacity.
I was going to say, I think I had a 750 gig drive and it was like $300 to buy it or something absolutely batshit. And now that's just not the way it works anymore.
Storage is so cheap now.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a 4 terabyte spinning disk drive for like $80. You can get a terabyte SSD NVMe drive that's just blazingly fast, for like 100.
You can just store all of the information. Why not? You've got the space.
Yeah, I switched to doing laptops instead of desktops, so now I'm like, I don't have to buy hard drives. They come pre-installed with a keyboard and a screen.
There's still something about, putting it together yourself, though. That's really
for sure.
fun. But yes, we spent a good chunk of the day, building that. We went to Micro Center, to look around at stuff, because you always forget something when you're putting together a computer.
Micro Center, for those who don't know, is just Home Depot for nerds.
You're not wrong. It's a magical place. It's an extremely magical place that still doesn't have graphics cards, however.
No
graphics
cards. Yeah, we were trying to look at upgrading some of the stuff for the video game lounge. It's like PS5, maybe 2 years from now. Not even because of budget, just because of when are we even going to have supply.
Yeah, because the minute a store gets one in stock, I mean, Best Buy's already had a few stores
Our
that have had them in
procurement
stock.
process is not compatible with sitting on Target's website refreshing it.
Yeah. No, I mean, there have been some in stock even in store at Best Buy's, but as soon as they only have a few of them and people are lined up and they're gone.
The procurement process is not compatible with this kind of thing.
Which is sad.
Oh, it's government work. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Or you could always do the same route as the Joy-Cons and just put it on somebody's...
He speaks wisdoms. I mean, he writes wisdoms.
The taco break.
What are we going to do?
For those, given that this is a audio medium for some folks, Taliz has put up a sign saying taco break.
So apparently he is going to enjoy another taco while Seyrr and I continue to BS about random things.
I'm going to go ahead and mute the mic so y'all don't have to deal with me taking a potato chip and eating it on the podcast. That would be gross.
We don't need Taliz's ASMR lunch eating.
In theory, we could actually get to like the word thing.
Talk about some contest winners, perhaps?
Yes.
Okay.
We could get
Talk
to, like,
about some contest winners?
No. Feel shame.
I say it works.
Yay.
Even though it was supposed to be. And making it take much longer for Taliz to eat his taco. But yes, we did have a contest 2 episodes ago. And we have some winners. I was able to pick up a couple of extra 60-day time cards. Actually found a really good deal on them. So figured, well, let's give some more stuff away to people. So I went ahead and picked everybody who entered our contest, and we picked random numbers. Congratulations to Tibient for winning his choice of what Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster game he wants. He already has all of them, so he's going to let us know when the next one comes out so we can pick that up for him. Which is perfectly fine. I mean, you know, I did say whichever one you wanted, and if you've already got them all, well, we'll see when 5 comes out. Congrats to Ravenheart for winning the Chocobo carriage mount.
Ooh. That is a mount that, like, people have heard me say, ever since I saw the Chocobo carriages in 1.0, I was like, I hope we get to drive those someday.
And they are kind of neat looking. I ended up buying one for myself as well.
You're going to be living the dream, Ravenheart.
Congrats to...
My dream, but...
Master Shake and Susan Sprinkle for each winning 60-day time cards. So thank you so much for that. But we did have somebody who entered our contest and forgot to follow. So if you are listening at Rasmus Fugel on Twitter, send us a follow and a quick message so we can get you your time card. I will tweet out at you as well, but if you are listening or watching this, make sure to give us a follow and send us a message so that way we can get you your code.
Yeah, this is, I believe, what the officer called a correctable violation, wherein if you pay your registration, you're not going to get actually dinged the cost of a ticket. The metaphor is not quite perfect here, but, you know, close enough.
So yeah, as a friendly reminder, if you enter one of our Twitter contests, make sure to follow us so we can send you a message. Makes it much easier. But sounds good. That was a lot of fun. We appreciate everybody who entered, and for once, not everybody who entered won, which is kind of nice. Also, kind of sad that we don't get to give everybody prizes. I wish I could, but yeah, we'll definitely look out for more contests in the future. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some gaming community news. I mean, we're already jumping into 2022 with this first bit of news. They showed a new 35th anniversary logo for Final Fantasy for its 35th anniversary next year. And
35th anniversary already?
Yeah.
It looks so good.
It's a good logo. We've got like our classic Warrior of Light there, Amano style. Oh, takes you back.
Yep.
And then with Final Fantasy 35th anniversary. It looks pretty cool actually. I was unable to find a smaller image that I copied into the chat, but wow, time is just kind of doing crazy shit this year.
The Final Fantasy series is now old enough to run for president. I mean, it's not a naturalized citizen, so it can't.
No.
But otherwise,
you can run for other offices.
It's not even naturalized citizen. I think you do have to be native.
President and vice president do have to be native born. That is correct. Welcome to social chat, social studies. God,
but yeah, otherwise, the Final Fantasy series could totally be president.
That's the only thing stopping it.
First order of business, change the national anthem to the Final Fantasy theme. It sounds like a freaking national anthem.
God damn it.
So
that's the one when we win a war.
I'm not gonna. There's so much there. I don't even know where to start, man.
All right, next up then.
We don't win anything. Anyway,
we've broken Taliz again.
Oh Jesus.
All right. Speaking of, we were talking a bit about various things that are reopening, and it looks like the Final Fantasy concert A New World is going to be coming back. They're starting their tour bookings for next year.
Yep.
For those of you who do want to spend some time hanging out with Klauss, other friends of the pod, they're going to be in St. Paul on March 18th of 2022, which is the same weekend as Anime Detour. So if you're going to be meeting up with Klauss and company for Anime Detour, make sure to grab a ticket at ffnewworld.com. They are also announcing other locations, San Diego, Ann Arbor, Michigan, Dusseldorf, Germany, among others. Those tickets will start going on sale, it looks like Tuesday.
Yep, Tuesday, October 5th at 10 a.m. Central Time. So at least for the St. Paul show. I think some of the others might be going on sale 10 a.m. local time for wherever those shows are occurring. But yeah, if you have the opportunity to go to one of these, it's basically a small chamber orchestra doing arrangements of Final Fantasy songs, and it's amazing.
Have yourself a nice little classy evening. Maybe wear fancy clothes. Make it a date night or something.
You don't have to wear fancy clothes, but I am contemplating if I want to go cosplay, since it is during Detour.
The first concert I went to, because it was one of the earliest video game concerts for Final Fantasy, I went ahead and dressed up. I was like, no, this is going to be a proper symphony event. It was nice. It made it special.
If you enjoy doing that kind of thing.
From time to time. It helps to have nice clothes that are actually well fitted instead of off the rack from Mervyn's. Just saying.
Yeah, I was at a party today that was apparently fancy dress that I didn't know about until last night at 11:30, and my response was, I have a pair of pants that doesn't have cargo pockets and a shirt that doesn't have a meme on it. That's what you're getting from me.
I once had to explain to my landlord why a tuxedo t-shirt, like the t-shirt with a tuxedo on it, and Vibram 5-finger shoes were not appropriate wedding attire. He genuinely did not understand. His girlfriend appreciated my intervention, and it turned out I had a jacket that was about his size.
The shoes are honestly a little bit more egregious. The t-shirt you can just lean into and probably pull off depending on your personality. I'm also from a place where we go to the orchestra wearing a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, so...
Yeah, I mean, the opera and stuff like that, you actually do get an interesting mix, and it's bringing a nice egalitarian vibe to it, which I do appreciate.
Yep. Though,
but for a friend's wedding, show a little, respect.
Yes, though I will say these concerts are a little bit more on the casual side, not quite as on the large scale of Distant Worlds.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to go fancy. I just like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that if they were ever in the Bay Area, or the next time they are in the Bay Area, Seyrr, you'll be going in a nice jacket with some pleated slacks or something. I don't know.
I mean, that was the other thing I think I mentioned. So I've mentioned to some of you they're opening up interviews for full-time library positions. I was very panicked at first because I was talking with my parents. My mom did the usual, do you have a nice suit to wear for? I was like, you ask this every time. Of course oh no, pandemic, wait. I don't.
Hey,
Oh,
Seyrr,
shit.
can I interest you in an exercise bike that's off screen?
Yeah, we're working on it. Apparently, they do conduct the interviews over the internet now, so I just need a nice shirt and to not stand up suddenly.
Yeah, there you go.
Or just get a jacket and do the jacket over the reasonably nice, not cotton t-shirt, and it's not so bad.
There are some options here.
And just hope that the next interview is not in person.
Then then you have to commit. But like, I went to Cara and Michael's wedding in a Magic the Gathering t-shirt. You'll be fine.
Then again, you're also the marvelous one, so.
So speaking of magical gatherings, the new Stranger of Paradise demo, trailer, and release date are up.
That was weak. That was weak.
That was so bad. God damn it.
I am so tired. Fine, you do the thing.
So the new Stranger of Paradise demo, trailer, and release date are up on Eurogamer.
You started out by saying, speaking of other strange things.
You mean Stranger Things? Wait, no, different thing.
That's a totally different thing.
Anyways,
and
keep going with the thing. We are going to get to the music if it kills us.
Yes, it was announced at TGS this past actually yesterday. They gave us a new trailer, a new release date, and a new demo, which has some multiplayer aspects to it as well. I'm going to link this article from Eurogamer here.
I actually want a PS5 now, just because like now this is 2 demos I haven't gotten to play, and I'm very sad about it.
The first demo, I wasn't impressed. I do have the second demo because after watching the trailer, which I'm going to link here in just a second, it actually gives us some story beats, and it's actually kind of interesting at this point. But holy shit, is there a lot of stuff happening on March 18th, 2022? Because that's when also this game is being released.
Oh,
that's a bunch of stuff.
So I think that, if you pre-order it right now, you can get early access. So maybe I'll have to do that. But yeah, if you have a PS5, the demo lasts through August 11th. So I would definitely look into getting into that and giving
October
it a try.
11th.
Is that not what I said?
Said August, homie.
August. Oh, my bad. It is October. Yes. No, it ended 2 months ago. Sorry, you're out of luck.
Good Lord, I know the PS5 hasn't been available for a while, but like time travel doesn't work that way.
Oh, I tried.
But yeah, so like you got yourself a week and a half to give it a go.
Definitely. And I'm like I said, I'm probably maybe give it a little bit of a go tomorrow.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll even stream it. We'll see. All right. Speaking of other games that are coming up, Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier has a new trailer, and apparently it's going to be coming out this year.
Not a lot of time even left in this year for that.
No.
I was gonna say, are they just trying to bank on holiday purchase? Because it feels like that's what it's going for.
Well, I mean, this is a free game, so it's free to play with in-game purchases.
Oh, sure.
So at this point, they want to be able to continue to pad their Q3 maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, and I watched this trailer as well. This probably isn't a game that I am going to play, but I can see a few interesting things coming out of it. Like it talks about how this all started 30 years before the events of Final Fantasy VII. So they've been working on this whole soldier program for quite a while, and it took them 12 years until they got some actual good candidates out of it.
I mean, given Hojo's typical testing methods, some amount of it I'm sure was just, okay, we need to find somewhere for this set of bodies.
Probably.
Dude's not a good scientist or a good boss.
No. He's pretty easy as a boss. You take him down pretty easily in the game.
Get wrecked.
Sorry,
right,
that was almost
list?
as bad as Seyrr's. This little bit of information was kind of nice coming from TGS. Chocobo GP, Final Fantasy Mario Kart Racers.
Yes, finally, I'm stoked.
Coming to Switch in 2022. So I'm very happy that I have a Switch coming in like a week.
I want to race my Chocobo all day.
All day. I need to go buy a Switch. I'm probably buying a Switch for this game.
Yeah.
Realistically.
I mean, it might not be as good as Mario Kart, but hey, I mean, a lot of the different kart racers like this are still a hell of a lot of fun to play.
I really like the Sonic All-Stars Racing and All-Stars Racing Transformed games. So, like, I'm definitely down for playing this. I also really liked Activision's Blur a couple of years ago. So, like, I almost bought the Hot Wheels game yesterday. So, like, I'm definitely down for something, and this, I think, is going to scratch that itch for me.
Also, games like Crash Team Racing, Diddy Kong Racing, stuff
CTR
like that.
was good. Diddy Kong, I kind of was on, but, like, I'll play all of it anyway. I also have Assetto Corsa, so, like, if I want to play an actual racing game, I have that. I want to play a game where we throw shells and slime balls and bananas at each other. That's way more fun.
It is true. So I can't wait to see if they end up having a demo on that. I
hope so.
Yeah, I didn't see too much information on it online, other than the fact that I want it now.
Yes.
So.
Also, how do we stream from a Nintendo console? Because I kind of think we should.
Well, I can do it through one of my capture cards.
Okay.
But as far as getting somebody else's, like I said, generally you have to have a capture card for something for that console. Okay. I believe PlayStation and Xbox have built-in streaming apps that you can use.
They do, but I want to play Chocobo GP against the two of you.
Well, you can, as long as I'm the one streaming it, and Seyrr also has a Switch.
All right, so Seyrr, I got your address. So if you get a box, that'll be why.
Just make sure it's not ticking first.
Yeah, make sure it's not ticking. It doesn't have a weird smell.
Everything all right, Seyrr? You haven't moved in a bit.
His camera froze. I think he might have
DC'd?
He DDoSed on us. He's peaced out for a minute.
No!
I looked over and I'm like, hey, Seyrr, I'm buying you a Switch. And he's just like, sad boy. I'm like, that's not the correct emotional response. All right. Hey!
He's alive!
Responses to?
The fact that you disappeared on us.
Oh, yes. I was once again trying to do too many things at once, and my computer was like, I don't like this. I'm going to crash to teach you to slow down a bit. So
you have ADD, the computer doesn't.
So I resume in stubborn defiance. All right. Fun side note, Control-Shift-T reopens the last tab you closed.
So apparently now you don't have to buy him that Switch anymore. So you're
didn't have to say it before.
I've already got a Switch.
Oh, you do?
Oh, sick! Awesome!
Perfect. So yeah, you're going to be joining us in some Chocobo GP when that's released.
Sure, that sounds awesome.
All right.
Excellent.
This is more Final Fantasy adjacent news, but the game Triangle Strategy from Square Enix has a new trailer and a release date as well. This game is going to be releasing March 4th of 2022. So for those who aren't aware what this is Square Enix's foray back into strategy style games, all the tactics style. So this is a game that looks like Octopath Traveler, but plays like Final Fantasy Tactics.
I will admit to not being terribly enamored with the name, but I also feel like it's gonna just keep growing on me. And
I mean, Bravely Default is also a pretty stupid name, to be fair.
It is great advice for what you should do when you can't make your mortgage payments.
If you would like investment advice, please look up literally anyone else other than this man.
The views and opinions expressed here on Phoenix and Radio do not affect any or should not be listened to at all.
If you're going to default, do it bravely.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, but yeah, sometimes we just have really stupid names for games.
I mean,
and
Final Fantasy.
Also kind of a dumb name.
Yeah.
It's like also kind of a dumb name.
But I do remember playing the demo and just find it remarkable just how much kind of tactical depth there was, the amount of different battlefield scenarios where you could take advantage of changing conditions. It felt like so many games describe themselves as tactics type stuff. It felt like there's a lot more tactics in terms of taking advantage of there's the areas where you can launch specialty types of attack, of having characters with abilities that would change the layout of the battlefield or set up interesting combinations. Like, it was really scratching those itches in a way I haven't had done in a while.
See, I like
and that was just in the demo.
I like that kind of game, but involving little worms sending incendiary explosives towards each other.
Also a good game.
Sorry, when you was talking about changing the landscape and that, it's like, that's the little fun one I remember.
That's some DOS 5 old school good shit right there.
I always end up going to like Dynasty Warriors nonsense, so everyone's got their own thing, I guess.
Yeah. Final Fantasy Muso game when?
Yeah, right. I'd play the crap out of that.
Going back to our last contest.
Yeah. I mean, I always wanted like the combined Muso game dating sim. I am going to pursue Lubu, and you can't stop me.
Oh my. I mean.
That's what she said.
or whatever.
Whatever you're into, it's fine.
Exactly. I keep
Is it
mixing
though?
up.
Is it?
Oh my.
And.
That's
Thanks,
what she
George.
said.
So.
Thanks, Michael.
I need to label that shit.
You do.
What?
Do you still not have your soundboard labeled?
No, because it changes each time. Because I have 3 different levels of samples that I can pick through, so it's hard to necessarily label it easily.
I feel like this is a solvable problem.
Speaking of other solvable problems, there was a discussion held last night between the creator of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi, and the current king of Final Fantasy, Yoshi P. That was a little weak too, sorry.
Yeah.
But they had a little hour-long discussion called "The Appeal and Potential of RPG." Linked the video to that in the chat. It'll also be in show notes. It is in Japanese. You can get some auto-translated English subtitles. It's a little bit wonky, but if you're interested in watching it, give it a shot. There were.
I am sure people are working furiously to provide a better translation as we speak.
People have gone through some of it, and they were able to pull a few nuggets of information about Final Fantasy 16. They didn't talk about it during the Square Enix Presents portion of it, but it doesn't prevent our lovely Yoshi P from spilling the beans when he has the opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
Especially if they're talking about, as it said, the title is Charm and Possibility. So talking about, hey, here's some new ideas we've been exploring.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't necessarily have to spoil anything about it to get into, hey, here's some ideas. And we've seen over and over, he's a person who likes discussing the design and a lot of the conceptual stuff behind game making. So it's a natural opportunity.
Yep. It fit in the context of their discussion. And while they were talking about it, we learned that final pieces of side content are currently being finished right now. The character models are basically complete, and the team is currently working on a number of quality upgrades. He also mentioned that the game features a skill tree system similar to that used in Sakaguchi's new game Fantasian, which you can play on the Apple games.
The game's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't have an Apple product, so I can't play it.
I do, but I guess I could just get an Apple Arcade subscription. I've seen a couple people streaming it, and it actually looked pretty legit.
Yeah.
It's really good, but it is on Apple Arcade, so you don't get to just buy it and be done. You have to pay like $4 a month or whatever, and then just like our PlayStation Plus games, if you don't have that PlayStation Plus, those free games aren't playable. You have to have the arcade sub to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am not a fan of this.
I don't like it at all. It's really annoying. But like if you're going to play a game once, maybe it's fine.
Also, if you're going to get to playing it and getting through it with it in a reasonably quick time frame.
Also, speaking of Sakaguchi, kind of in preparation for this discussion that they had, he decided to jump into Final Fantasy XIV. And he's a Lalafell now.
I don't think that's him.
Yeah.
Is it actually him?
Yeah.
Or is it somebody trolling?
No, this is actually him.
It was
Okay.
posted on his Twitter.
Yes, I linked his Twitter.
Okay, I saw the picture without Oh, okay, because I saw somebody else had like a picture of someone in Limsa with a sprout leaf, and it said Hironobu Sakaguchi is the name, and everybody's like, "Oh, haha, isn't that funny?" And the people were like, "Nah, dude, this might actually be him," and like nobody believed it was him.
But he is playing in on a Japanese server, so.
That said, I don't know if that's like photoshopped on or if they actually did do a special thing to give him that Helm of Light, because that was a pre-order bonus from 1.0.
Was it a pre-order bonus or was it a collector's edition bonus?
It was one of those. I can't even remember.
I thought it was a collector's edition item from 2.0.
I'm pretty sure it's Hironobu Sakaguchi, and he has access to Holy and Fellcleave at the same time, if he wanted to. I'm pretty sure he could just do that.
Well, we can always look it up.
Yeah. Like, it would not surprise me if they've been like, yeah, we'll go ahead and add this item for you, because it's mostly a cosmetic thing that also gives like a small XP bonus. And it's like, yes, we will add it for you, because why wouldn't we? I would absolutely believe it. I was just amused to see it.
Yep, it was a collector's edition bonus from the original release or A Realm Reborn, according to Gamer Escape. So.
And Chili is saying 1.0 was Onion Helmet, and then 2.0 for... Oh.
Well, it was an early game collector's edition item. So, there's that.
Million years ago.
Either that or just like he created a character that long ago and then was like, I'm not feeling this whole thing, and then came back like 8 years later.
But then again, he is Hironobu Sakaguchi. He can have whatever the hell he wants. Speaking of what you guys want, I think it's music.
We really got to work on our segues. But yes, let's get to the music.
What, you don't want music? Okay. And that's
Speaking of crappy transitions,
I think we should just play the song.
I'm done with you both.
All right, so we're back to Final Fantasy IX, Disc 2 of the soundtrack.
And we jump right into Cid's theme. This is not Cid Highwind. This is not Cid from Hammerhead. This is Cid Fabul the Ninth.
It's interesting that this one has such like a regal feel to it, but the actual Cid is a guy who's been transformed into an Oglop or into a frog, depending on which point of the game you're in. Super regal theme for super goofy regent. I think he was actually a regent, wasn't he?
He was.
Yes.
Hence the more regal theme.
Oh, usually like a regent is someone who's sort of filling in until the actual crown prince or princess is of age to rule. Did they ever establish who that would have been for Lindblom?
Was that supposed to be Garnet?
No, Garnet was for Alexandria.
Oh, that's right. Garnet was Alexandria. What the hell was Cid's then? Yeah, I don't know.
How did I never think about this before now?
Welcome to Final Fantasy, where we every once in a while discover something that we should have known 20 years ago.
You had one job.
Kidnap the princess. That was it. We did that.
Yeah, we pulled it off. It was great.
Everything went fine. Nothing went bad. We don't have to be sad or anything.
No, everything is perfect. Everything is wonderful. This is fine.
Having succeeded his father, Cid Fabul the Eighth. But yeah.
It's still a really good song.
He is the ruler of a city. He is our usual gadgeteer genius type, having made several airships. But given the many shifting faces of Cid over the series, having this one who is in like this kind of formal position of power, the practically King Cid, kind of worked for something where we're going back to some of those medieval fantasy roots.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the next song since that one goes for a while. This is an interesting song. It also plays in Lindblom, but it plays at a bar.
This feels like the kind of bar where super shady stuff goes down.
Of course, Zidane's there.
Yeah.
Checks out.
It's called Out of the Frying Pan. This is where Zidane meets Freya.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the phrase out of the frying pan usually has the implied into the fire, so, okay, stuff is about to get worse somehow.
No, never. This is a Final Fantasy game. Why would that happen?
Anyways, I'm not quite sure why that would be implied in the meeting with Freya. Like, the tune absolutely fits with that name of like, hey, we're going into this shady situation. We're likely to make some type of terrible deal and end up in over our heads some mob boss or something. So all that makes sense. I just have trouble linking it to the, okay, and this is where we join up with Freya.
Ravenheart in the chat saying, usually gets worse before it gets better. And yeah, that usually tracks for most RPGs.
Sometimes it gets worse and then you die.
Hopefully you
Thanks
save.
for that.
Anytime.
And this has been Daily Affirmations with Seyrr.
That's not how I roll. You know that by now.
God.
All right, let's go ahead and jump to the next tune. This theme is called Lindblom, and it plays during the party's visits to the Regency of Lindblom. So this is kind of like the town theme, like the street theme.
Yeah.
It's not quite as regal as Sid's theme.
Lindblom is kind of the most technologically advanced city in the setting. It makes great use of airships. You see lots of machinery around. The influence of its regent has made it more advanced, but again, still advanced within a more traditional fantasy setting. Lots of big gears and clockwork and stuff like that.
Cool background art, especially for like PS1 era. There's just a lot of stuff to look at the whole time.
Yeah.
The artists on those background frames did just phenomenal work on all the different environments.
There's just a lot going on in Lindblom. I think Taliz is actually headquartered there because you can go to the theater company stuff for that, and there's some side quests around it. I mean, they're doing their big performance in Alexandria, but I believe Lindblom is actually where the theater company is from.
That makes sense. I mean, the fact they have their stage is an airship.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty cool, actually. I love the hell about it. They're just like, this is our stage and our house and our airship all in one. There's an orchestra pit.
Yeah, I mean, they did the whole, and they kind of brought that whole theme back in 14 as well when they brought that airship into.
Yes, divided into 4 districts: the theater district, industrial, business, and the Grand Castle.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into the next song. This is called A Song from Her Memory.
Where this is on one of the piano albums as well.
Yeah.
This song first... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, this song first plays when Zidane hears Garnet sing and meets her in Lindblom's castle tower.
I just replayed this game earlier this year and I do not remember this scene, but I've heard this song.
Oh?
Where Garnet singing?
Okay. No, I need the Memories of Life.
Yep. It's got those melodies of life motifs in there. Again, combined with a lot of the other elements of the recurring, like memories and the connection between all that. So it's just hitting on all of those themes. But it's also like this really soft, tender moment. This is after all the flirting and all the danger, this is like kind of the first moment where Zidane and Garnet get to like be alone and not have a crisis bearing down upon them. It's kind of a moment to breathe and like actually start to get to know each other a little. Plus, of course, the whole like troporific thing of the demure princess character singing a song and everyone being entranced by it.
Yep, very on point. This song is a lot of fun to hear. Who's ready for the Festival of the Hunt?
God, this was such a weird mini game.
It was fun though.
It was.
I used to use this song like as part of my like jogging playlist. It's got that heart-pounding excitement to it.
Because you have to go fast, but you also have to be smart. You have to understand when running is good and when fighting is good. And you're judging time, you're looking at other people. Like, we know it's all RNG and like we can manipulate it a little bit.
Right.
But it doesn't feel that way at this point in the game. It feels like you are still very much involved in this world, and it's a lot tougher to just compartmentalize it out. You really do want to do this hunt. It's a lot of fun.
Well, there's the first prize is actually a pretty good piece of accessory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
so
really stupid good gear.
Yeah, there's a couple different ones, and the one that you get depends on which member of your team wins the hunt. Which you're only controlling Zidane, but you can actually try to influence things so that Freya or Vivi will be the winner instead. And yeah, like the way we talk about hunters and hunting, like it's not just okay, you walk up, you see an animal, you kill it. Like actual hunting, God, I've been learning a lot about this over the last couple months for completely unrelated reasons. It's a surprisingly complex thing, involving like reading clues from the environment around you, lots of judgment calls, lots of subtle attempts to try shifting, because you're trying to do all this stuff with the behavior of unpredictable wild animals.
I don't know, I just like listening to the music.
The music itself is great. It does have that kind of heart-pounding excitement, because it is hunting, but it's not the slow, methodical stalking. It's a tournament. It's
fast,
a bit of a performance piece in and of itself. You're doing this thing, but also putting on a show for the crowd.
What year did this game come out?
2000.
Okay, because I'm trying to remember when Pokemon Gold and Silver originally came out. Because there's a bug-catching mini-game in that that's also very akin to this style of hunting, where you're trying to get a thing to get points to win, to get a key item.
Pokemon Gold and Silver were initially released November 21st, 1999. Final Fantasy IX, July 7th, 2000.
Yep,
They're
that's
close enough.
Same era.
Yeah. They're close enough together that I doubt that one directly took from the other just because of the development schedules. But just as a general, hey, this was a common motif, then I would absolutely believe it.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things that are like, that's like, oh, they stole that from this and they stole that from this. It's like, no, there was a batch of people that all graduated from DigiPen and art institutes, and they all started working on games at the same time, which means they all got promoted at the same time, which means they all started working at the same time, and they all had the same professor and textbooks. So 10 years later, we have hunts and bug-catching games.
Makes sense.
Banjo-Kazooie is the same game as Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Except Conker has the Great Mighty Pooh.
Conker has the Great Mighty Pooh, but like, it's the same game as Super Mario 64. It's the same game. Like, that's just how we build games. So we start seeing these little similar bits. But this hunt was fun because, like, for Pokemon, it was just catch a Pokemon and you're done. For this, it was like, hey, maybe I want Vivi to win, so I get that key item instead. But you only do this hunt one time.
Yeah.
So you have to really pick it, and there's no New Game Plus in this game. So you have to choose what you're getting.
All right.
But man, what a great track. Shares so much DNA with a lot of those battle themes as well, with the like rising and falling and attacking and defensive portions of the music.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of fighting involved too, so.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of great tracks.
Yes.
Who's Marsh?
I hate this character so much.
They're so cool.
No, they're awful.
Oh.
Quina is awful.
Come on, I mean, you gotta love these cutscenes when we hear this song.
Hey, do you want to explain a really minutia part of the game? Nah, I just want to kill stuff with daggers. Seems legit. And then you just leave, or you spend the next 2 minutes reading something, and then you can actually figure out what the hell the next puzzle solution is.
Yeah, this music was used in Qu's Marsh, which was where you would have the active time event scenes for a lot of the tutorial portions with Mogster and Moggy, where they would teach you about some new game mechanic, or let you say, yeah, no, skip that.
Pro tip, your first time through 9, don't skip the mechanic bits. This game has a lot of stuff going on, and you will not find it all just by running in. You need to read some of it. It's really, really detailed.
Also, Chili in the chat saying Quina is second best character. So,
damn right.
I mean, Vivi is of course best boy.
I was gonna say, yeah, like Vivi wins for sure. Like that's not a thing.
But yes, Quina is definitely second best. I mean, that is the wedding that you want later on in the game.
Yes, and Freya is definitely the best winner because you get the coral ring.
Yep, in the previous.
Unless you are that gill-starved.
If you're that gill-starved, go grind. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Vivi's was a Tetramaster card, which... Oh, Tetramaster. We'll leave that alone for now.
Yeah, I think we can just leave Tetramaster alone, almost, period.
So one thing that really got me about this was you've heard this tune so many times when it was like, okay, much earlier in the game, it cuts to this thing where we're moving up on these Moogles in a swamp and being like, hey, here's this tutorial sequence. And so the first time I went in there myself, actually like, oh, no, we're actually here. This is that spot. There was a weird sense of deja vu to the whole thing.
Yeah. The reuse of a background is like, okay, whatever, it's a video game. There's only so much data. It's a disc, etc. But this is different. This is like, what do you mean there's story? What do you mean there's character recruiting? I thought this was a how to use items the right way space. And it's like, no, there's also story here. There's also major plot of Quina's story and character here. All in one little tiny T-shaped bit. Yeah, it's an actual living, functional space in our tiny little microcosm world of Mist.
And I think we've actually moved on to another track now.
Yes, but it is still... this is Quina's theme.
But yeah, shares a lot of DNA with the one we were just hearing.
100%. You know, this plays with scenes involving Quina, as well as that frog catching game.
Oh, that frog catching game.
She liked the frog catching game.
Dude, I maxed out Frog Drop.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, there's little stuff. It's for every Final Fantasy. There's always like the one little mini game, and if you figure it out, you get this weird advantage that's very helpful for a while. It eventually levels out, but yeah, Frog Drop was cool. Frog Drop was a fun thing to max.
Yeah. In general, Quina was a very odd and divisive character, I'm going to say. I guess first non-binary character in Final Fantasy games, or at least first non-binary player character.
Publicly, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Someone will correct us in the comments of this YouTube upload, or email us at podcast@PhoenixDownRadio and tell us we're wrong, because that's the internet. Don't figure out if you're right. Say something with gusto and give them your email address to complain at you later.
But yeah, no, Quina was pretty much consistently shown as like he/she, as a non-binary or unclear. Absolutely food obsessed. And seeming at first like just this complete comic relief character, but then occasionally having these moments of surprising insight into situations. And then going back to being like, time to look for more food.
We are very smart and we are very capable, but also snack time. Also, Quina's a blue mage for anybody that's never played 9. So if you've played any game that has a blue mage, you know what blue mages are like. They're very aloof and kind of silly and kind of childish, but they're also really fucking brilliant, and they will destroy you if you insult them or if you screw up. Quistis will wreck you. will absolutely wreck you, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Anybody that can learn monster magic has a pretty high chance of being very intelligent and also being able to put you into the ground. And then you meet Quina, who is this fat, adorable pink and white thing with a spoon.
And a huge tongue.
And a huge tongue, and they will put you in the ground. They are really strong.
Fearfully at that. The bit I always remember is there's a much later sequence in the game where your 8-person party divides up into 4 2-person groups to simultaneously hit several points.
Yep.
And for everyone else, you just get like scenes of them and little bits of their interaction, because everyone else got matched based on, okay, this person wants to go with this person, these people work well together, these people have the skills needed for this, and Zidane and Quina get matched up for the last one. And that's the one you get to control. As you're going in, Zidane makes a comment about how he feels he kind of got stuck with the leftovers. And Quina, being a gourmand, is very pleased because, as they say in their tribe, leftovers good.
You know, as much as I don't like Quina, like, yeah, there actually is a lot of really good points.
And I basically think we now have a new mascot for Phoenix on Radio.
Excellent.
Because snacks.
Because snacks, and we occasionally we're aloof and occasionally have nuggets of good info.
Leftovers.
But also
good.
snacks.
But also snacks.
Hashtag leftovers good, I think might be the name of the fucking episode.
You got it.
Yeah.
In one. I actually do like leftovers as well, so.
That's good. All right. Next track, we're not talking over the first bit because it's awesome and rad, and I want to hear it.
I think though we've changed your mind slightly on Quina though, at least, so.
It's definitely one of those things, like a lot of this other stuff that years later with more life experience and retrospective, no, that's better than I realized at the time.
Exactly.
I like 8 now. Like, took a long time, but I got there.
Yeah.
Life experience helped there too. All right.
These next couple
I am
songs
looking forward to this next track.
are bangers. You know how much we love these themes. It's a slower one, but you know what's coming.
I don't think during this one.
It comes.
Oh, in that sense, Scott.
There we go. Anything
Yeah.
with the Chocobo theme.
Yep.
This is Aloha de Chocobo. Aloha.
Yeah. And I mean, Aloha is kind of appropriate because you've got that island living feel to it. It's slow, it's relaxing, it's Chocobo, but it's not Chocobo tearing across the field. It's Chocobo, like, flapping its wings a little bit and then nestling down in the grass as the sun sets over the cape.
This is
There's a
Chocobo
big difference
chillaxing.
between, like, was it Chocobo Day?
There's Electric Day Chocobo, there's even the next one that's coming up is a different feel, but, you know, this is a very, very toned down and chill Chocobo.
There's a difference between Boko from 5 and the Chocobos at the start of Type 0. There's a very big difference between those types of Chocobo.
Yeah, these ones, in fact, they play usually when you're just visiting a place where Chocobos might stay. So Chocobo Forest, Chocobo Lagoon, the Air Garden. It's like, hey, here's a place that is for Chocobo, where Chocobo can take refuge and relax a little bit. Let us enter the world of Chocobo and its charming something or another.
Where?
Man, the quail wark thing still bedevils me to this day. I'm never quite sure which is right.
We'll never really know, Kupo.
I brought this on myself.
You did?
Way too quiet.
But yeah, this is a type of thing I would absolutely just have playing in the background while I worked. Like, it's not too forward. It's not going to distract you from my thoughts. It's nice and pleasant and relaxing.
If anybody finds a lo-fi Chocobo theme mix, link it in the chat and I will allow it.
Oh my god, I would get so much done with that.
Okay, Ravenheart in the chat saying Quay would be for the domesticated, and Wark is for the wild chocobos.
Huh.
I don't dislike that, actually. I don't know how accurate it is. I also don't care. I like it. We're going to roll with it.
I will get out my canon stamp. Whatever it was before, I now declare it canon. Why does anyone let me have that stamp?
Who gave you that stamp? Anyway, this one's a
Pyro
little
described it as sounding like a lullaby, and yeah, there's kind of a lullaby aspect to it.
Kind of a little sleepy time.
Sleepy time for Chocobo.
I love this one. This is probably one of my favorites.
It's one of the best ones.
The first time I heard it, I just froze. I was like, I want to listen to this for a while.
This is Ukulele de Chocobo. It plays while you're riding Choco on a world map. So you hear this a bunch if you are a good player and you know how to ride a Chocobo.
A little more about Chocobo Island living, but with a little more energy to it, but still that relaxed island vibe.
So Pyrocats, I still have your ukulele. We should probably practice together at some point.
I hear they're not that hard to learn.
They're not. You just noodle on them about 15 minutes a day and you'll know how to play in like a month.
Nice.
Yes, the steel drums are very good.
And just that tiny little bit with like the rhythm and the snapping.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that's perfect. Not every Chocobo song needs to be like super high energetic stuff. Sometimes you're just having a nice time riding around on your Chocobo.
I like Mambo de Chocobo quite a bit, but Ukulele de Chocobo is very fun as well.
I'm still partial to Electric de Chocobo.
Oh yes, Electric is good.
Chocobo's heart is wide and has room for all within its loving embrace.
But nothing beats
something.
Crazy Chocobo.
Oh man, once we get to Final Fantasy 13 too.
You know what's scary and awesome? That's not far away.
If we end up continuing it that far, we'll have to see.
I think we should.
I think we'll need to figure out what we want to do for 11, or if we want to put 11 off for a bit while we figure that out. But otherwise, yeah, I am totally happy to keep going with this.
We may have to exclude the MMOs for a bit because there's just too many songs.
We'll figure something out.
I mean, I think we've had this discussion a few times. I think we would end up spending about 2 years just doing Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if I was going to do MMOs, maybe do highlights. But we're not doing MMOs. We're doing Final Fantasy 9.
But I mean, the stack of 14 discs I have is like this right now.
Oh yeah, no, the 14 soundtracks are like this, and you're like,
Speaking of, I did get my copy of the newest one last week.
Very cool.
Nice.
It's
14
nice.
Just like, we're gonna listen to Answers in its entirety and then just move on. We just don't have time.
Actually, no, that's the one we can't listen to, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Anything with Susan, unfortunately, we can't listen to.
And I think there were one or two other restrictions for...
Well, anything that was Answers based.
Music rights are tricky.
It is, definitely. Anyway, how about some more Final Fantasy IX?
Hell yeah.
We go from the nice ukulele ride on the Chocobo
shit, yeah.
into another character theme.
This is Freya's theme. It's playing during the party's visit to Gizmaluk's grotto. I think this is where you actually get her as a party member, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we encounter her after she's trying to she's basically trying to fight to... She has I'm trying to remember it exactly. It's been so long since I played the game.
Her master? Is that this, or is that the next thing that she does?
Like, so
Sir
she's
Fratley,
been traveling.
Is that who it is?
Because like she's been traveling from her homeland, from the place where all of her people live. Freya being a kind of rat person thing. I forget if they ever actually named what the race was.
They did.
But so
I don't remember what it was, but it's in the text somewhere.
Like when she meets with Zidane in the bar, it's not like oh hey buddy, join up our party. It's like oh hey, we've worked together before, we've run into each other, it's nice to catch up. And then later on we come across her, and it's at that point, because she's desperately trying to get, in part because I believe at that point Lindblom, like so many other places, had fallen to Alexandria's assault. And there was concern about what other places might be on the list. And Freya is trying to get back home to her homeland to let them know the coming threat and help them prepare. If I remember properly, it has been a while.
I remember something about Sir Fratley, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. Like, Freya, in some ways, is a tragic character. She's already, before the game even starts, she's been through a lot. She's already had to deal with a loss on a significant scale.
So her theme definitely kind of echoes that.
Yeah.
But there's also a little bit of nobility in it as well.
Nobility is a good word for what we've got going on with her, both music and character-wise. She's an interesting individual, and I had not appreciated that at the time.
And as the first girl Dragoon, like, she is the reason why Fang existed in 13. She still has the motif of a red mage, where she's got the hat and the long red coat, because they're trying to go back towards that old NES style. But we don't need a red mage in this game, so they added that motif onto the Dragoon. So it's kind of an interesting play on putting the design onto a different job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is definitely Dragoon through and through.
Big time.
All right, continuing on.
Oh yeah, because we've still got some stuff happening in parallel at this point, don't we?
Yeah, our party splits up a little bit. They give us a bunch of characters and their relationship to Zidane, and then everybody splits up, and then everybody comes back together.
And this happens a few times.
Yep. This is the theme of Southgate.
Oh, there's that Melodies of Life.
Yep. Is this where the pickle scene happens, or is that a different gate?
I think that was at Southgate, yes.
Okay, this was a good scene.
With a giant barrel of pickles.
He like has pickles stuffed in his bag because he's trying to sneak them across the border.
Everyone loves Gasol pickles. Oh yeah, this is like just kind of a sleepy border crossing. Given the amount of airships in the setting, airship travel both for passengers and for cargo is a big thing. And Southgate, although you can technically cross on foot by climbing a lot of stairs, it is pretty much a gate to regulate airship travel. In part because airships can only go so high, mind you.
All right, that's enough of that, but
yeah, you've got that.
What the hell is this one?
Because you've got that opening scale that usually starts a battle, but
yeah, this is the ferry battle. This plays during battles with friendly monsters, or the Ragtime Mouse.
The Ragtime Mouse, both of which are involved with various mini-quests. The friendly monsters, if you can fulfill their requests, will each direct you to one of their compatriots, eventually giving you a boost in one of the specialty boss fights, one of the bonus boss fights. And the Ragtime Mouse giving you quiz questions about the game, with fabulous prizes if you're able to answer them all correctly. And a meteor to the face if you decide you want to try attacking him, so there's always one.
Yeah, I would agree with Pyrocats in chat. It does kind of have a Fantasia feel.
A little bit, yeah. I think it's that.
Yeah, or maybe
that
a little
steel harmonic in the back. It just always.
It also makes me think of like the Calliope on a traditional carousel. Like, if you
Oh,
like the old
yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Maybe it's just kind of the bells hanging out in the background.
Or like, I
Little
could absolutely
triangle.
imagine riding a carousel to this music.
And now on a Final Fantasy carousel, that's just a bunch of chocobos.
Exactly. Or
I feel like,
you could have
like,
any of the 14 mounts.
I mean, like, if it's gonna be like your traditional, you've got mostly horses, but then there's a couple other little things like the bench type ones. So maybe you have like a behemoth in there or a tunberry.
Excellent.
Mostly chocobos, though.
I don't think Buddy would like you riding him.
Oh, and Pyrocats points out the 3/4 time.
Yep.
So yeah. Yeah, I bet you could. 2, 3, steps. Oh my god, yes, I could waltz to this.
Of course you could.
I used to do social dance. It was great.
All right.
I mean, the dance was great. Some of the people were awful, and I'm glad I no longer have to interact with them. But some of the people were good, and the dance was great.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Oh, artists.
Very different sounding song from the previous. But it's also a very different environment.
Get those pipe organs and church choirs in there. And I think we have to get a little way past the opening before the bit I'm thinking of comes in.
Yeah, this is kind of just, we're getting Burmecia into view right now, so it's just kind of panning in.
Oh, there's always a bit of build-up on this.
Reminisce is also one of those really cool cities that you see and you go, oh, there's going to be history and lore and stuff here. And then you get there, and that's true, but it's not good. It's a pretty interesting experience.
It is, of course, raining non-stop in Burmecia, which feels like it just adds to the mood, really.
Yeah. I felt right at home.
Oh, I wouldn't mind a bit more rain from time to time, I have to admit. How far into it is it that it starts? Because, like, I know some bits of the music change, and I'm waiting for that moment, but it's
We're
much
about a
further
third of
in
the
than
way
I
through.
thought. Oh, I might actually be thinking of the next one.
Okay. Because this one sounds like it just continues to repeat at this point.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a loop.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to
Like,
the next theme.
There are a couple elements of it that share some with another piece, but I think I'm thinking of a different one. There we go. We've got those Burmecia elements with Freya's theme there.
Yep, this is called Unforgettable Silhouette. Because it does involve Burmecia and Freya, and flashback with Sir Fratley.
Yeah. Fratley being, of course, someone who Freya once upon a time knew, and who has returned, but who has no memory of so much of his past, including of Freya. And so for Freya, what's supposed to be this joyful reunion turns tragic as the person that she was waiting for doesn't know who she is. Again, a lot of those themes that they explore of like memories of like those how they are passed down, how they become lost. And so we have like this really heart-rending moment with this character. Yeah, pensive is definitely the word for it. And I kind of like that last bit, it had this unresolved thing and it didn't resolve it. And it feels a little uncomfortable, and I think it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the weird things you can do with music, is you can put so much emotion into it just by not doing what you expect.
That unresolved chord sits on my spine. It is uncomfortable.
Or when you get that little bit of dissonance. Dissonant chords are amazing things when done right. But I think we can go ahead and move on.
I get sad just listening to it, even if I didn't know the story. Just like the original thing just made me feel kind of sad. This is clearly a sad moment. This is a painful moment. The music makes you hurt a tiny bit.
And that says that it's been written well.
Definitely. All right, next. This is another one of those themes that has a little bit of stress built into it. It's got that minor key going.
And we are going to be hearing elements of this again and again as well.
This is Kuja's theme.
Oh, Kuja.
Yeah, we first encounter him in the rain-soaked remains of Reminisce. Where I believe it's where he's having a meeting with someone else that we listen in on. I forget the exact details. This bit has been a very long time. And I think the first thing that a lot of people notice about him is his wild manner of dress, the strange and bizarre clothes he's wearing.
The same tail that Zidane has.
No, you actually don't see that.
Oh, you don't?
No, not yet. Soon, though.
No, not for a very, very long time.
Is it later?
It is a plot point that he keeps it concealed. It is, I think it's only the.
Is it only
I'm
trance?
trying to think of how spoilery we want to be about, but like the first time he actually undergoes trance that we see it, which is very, very late.
Okay, fair enough.
Like it's not until we've traveled to another realm and learned some revelations about Kuja and Zidane that we find out that information.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We do, however, see this person that a lot of people were confused about what gender they were. Like they see the thong, they see the chest stuff, they think, okay, is this like a woman or? And I think
very confused monkey human demi soul attached body.
Thing.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And there was some amount of like people focusing on that, and I think being caught by surprise or losing track of like, no, this person, this very ostentatious performer who likes to talk about taking the grand stage, is in fact a very real and very dangerous threat. But yeah, there is a knife in that song. Not a knife, a dagger. It's more of a point slipped between the ribs.
Well said.
I don't know where it came from.
Our next theme. This is called The Wavering Blade. It's also called The Sword of Doubt, but it plays during battles with Beatrix.
Yeah. Beatrix is another one that the player interpretations, at least based on initial encounters, don't always cover the full depth of what's going on with her. If you're fighting against her, it's a desperate fight for survival, for not getting killed before she does the thing that cripples the entire party and ends the battle.
Oh, Clim Hazard?
Usually Clim Hazard. I don't think there are any fights against Beatrix where you actually beat her.
She kicks your ass every time until she starts kicking ass for you.
Yeah. So a lot of people were so frustrated with her just for the whole like, hey, it's a boss who beats the party again and again and again. Like she is a one-woman army for Alexandria, and she is loyal to Alexandria to a fault. Even when privately she's not quite sure about what Queen Brane is doing and about whether she's doing the right thing. But she keeps retreating it. Oh, go ahead.
She knows that she has to be that face, though, so she can't be uncertain and be in a position where everyone's looking to her. So she treats it like, no, this is what we are dedicated to. This is what we are dedicated our lives and our souls to. And then behind closed doors, she's like, God, I hope what we're doing is right, because otherwise I have a lot to answer for.
And she absolutely
nails
does.
It.
There are parts in it's like that feels a little frustrated that she, as far as I'm concerned, she never properly got called to account for her role in a lot of the stuff.
No, definitely not.
But then again, this is also an RPG written back in the 2000s, so...
Yeah.
There's only so much that we were going to bother to do. A lot of it was just assumed.
I mean, if...
And, like the whole worrying about, like, redemption arcs and whatnot, it's like, I already complained about that being overdone, so, you know what? Sure.
Though, yeah, if this was a game written now, there would definitely be a redemption arc in that, so...
Or at least an exploration of the, okay, look at all that she's done. But no, like in this, she is this loyal sword.
Episode Beatrix.
But, like, this loyal sword that, as the title says, is this wavering blade.
Look forward to that with the Final Fantasy IX remake. Actually, that might be something interesting to delve into in the anime.
Yeah. I kind of wonder how they'll handle her character. Anyway,
continuing on. This song reminds Seyrr of his favorite minigame.
I mean, honestly, it makes me think of, like, the classic piece, The Entertainer, but...
Yeah. Dark City Trino.
That said, there's another translation that I like a bit better, because Dark City implies, like, kind of this evil or miasmatic, and Sleepless City Treno is another translation that I feel like fits it a bit better.
Well, this is where you first learn about
Triple Triad.
Or not Triad. Tetramaster.
Tetramaster.
Yeah, so they have Tetramaster tournaments. They have any number of other games and entertainments there. Auctions for the rich and powerful.
So this is basically the Vegas analog.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not like glitzy, flashy. More, it's like kind of the subtle older money.
Yep. It's the maybe more like what would be a smaller Monaco kind of thing.
I was about to say maybe like yeah, you're not looking for like the big flashy shining lights in the desert. This is more of the, we come from fine old traditions and we know how to behave. Your cocktail is waiting for you.
Versus the Gold Saucer, which is glitz and glamour and entertainment and buffets.
Yep, both speak to wealth and power, just in very different ways.
Yeah, this is like one of the first, just real piano songs that I'm recalling in this soundtrack. A lot of the other songs
I feel like there had to be more, but
well, I mean, this is just piano.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and Seyrr is correct. It is kind of like parts of The Entertainer, like that slower part towards the beginning. Or that part that you don't think of when you think of The Entertainer, but it's definitely an interesting ragtime styled tune.
Piano rag, that's the one.
Anyway, and that just keeps looping and looping, but next song.
And I wonder if the Ragtime Mouse came from here. Ooh, got a bit of jazz in here. Dark, smoky jazz played in clubs.
Yep, mixing a little bit of the feel from the previous song and then adding some jazz and a little bit of a different feel. This is the Tantalus theme.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, it was written as Tantalus theme on Apple Music.
Every once in a while, the auto-translate doesn't hit, and you get some weird names.
Yeah.
Ah, that Tantalus.
Yeah. Now, Tantalus, of course, is based in Lindblom, in the sense of the theater district is their kind of home, but they don't actually end up doing a lot of plays there. They are chiefly a traveling troupe, and a place like Treno is a lot more their speed. Oh, that saxophone.
This is Smooth Jazz on KCBO.
I was going to say, like, did we all have that station? Between every song, we say the word smooth jazz with too many O's. KABC.
We
Numbers.
also sound like we've been smoking a cigarette pack between every set.
Name of the city.
Smooth Jazz.
No, seriously. Get a fireplace going, maybe put on like Rainy Mood or some type of similar thing, and baby, you got a night in.
Nope, I'm good.
Just sit back and enjoy.
This is Phoenix Down Radio, caressing your ears.
God damn.
Somebody hit that mute button, or somebody, sending a big tip, for that.
This is what happens when you get me a microphone set up like this. I gotta start doing radio announcer. I just gotta.
And mute. So, Taliz.
That's fair.
How about that? All right, next song, actually.
The heck is this one?
Oh, I think these two listings are actually the same listing. It just got separated into two by accident.
Yep.
Okay.
This is Wicked Melody. It kind of gives you Kefka vibes.
A lot, yeah.
Definitely those villainous aspects.
But this is Kuja's second theme.
This is him in all of his wicked glory. This is no longer waiting in the wings. This is making his entrance onto the stage.
A lot of people think that the design of Kuja was supposed to reference Kefka.
I could see that.
Really ostentatious, really, out there, just very different from anything else that we've seen in any Final Fantasy
there is
game.
sand on my boot.
It's kind of interesting comparing it to, or when you see the portrayal, for instance, in the Dissidia stuff, where Kuja can't stand Kefka.
That actually makes a lot of sense, though, too, because psychopaths generally cannot stand one another.
Oh.
Solid.
I have trouble calling Kuja a psychopath. One of the things that's really interesting is, as you learn more about what's going on with him, his actions all make a lot of sense. Like, there is an internal reason to it. It is a cruel and heartless one, but there is a sense to it.
Okay, so a psychopath and a... what would be...
Sociopath.
Okay, sociopath. There we go. I could see them not liking each other either.
Yeah, but like, one of the other things in a lot of supplemental materials, Kuja very much likes to talk about things in terms of like as a performer, the theater. Like a lot of those theater motifs show up again and again.
All right. So that one of the deepest themes that we've had so far in this soundtrack.
Yeah, that shows up a couple times. Usually when Kuja has come onto the stage in full. Anyways, what do we got next?
Next up, a little bit lighter, a little bit happier. This is Garnet's theme. We first hear this in a flashback back in Alexandria with Garnet and Dr. Tot.
Yeah, there's some stuff that again kind of shares with like those melodies of life, and with like those kind of light, almost fluttering moments. It's a thing that you imagine playing in the early morning as the sun starts to rise. Ah, there's that Melodies of Life.
It's playing very high.
Every time it shows up, pay attention.
It generally seems to come out more with themes that involve Garnet.
Yes, big time.
This also plays when she's preparing for her coronation. So it's a very interesting and deep, meaning to this song.
Mm-hmm. But after the often dark, oppressive thing of a lot of the other ones, this is kind of just a gentle, light moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say oasis, but oasis in the desert isn't quite right. But it is this peaceful moment among this dark, oppressive, mist-shrouded world.
It's a bit of respite.
Respite's a good word for it.
Because our next song kind of goes back into that a little bit darker, but a little bit... It's an interesting place, Garganroo.
It's used as a couple other roos as well, which I'm not actually sure where that word originates from. I kind of want to look into that now. But these underground tunnels snaking all over the place, passages made by giant ant-like creatures that are used as transport tubes, with like little railways running through them.
Yep. So it plays in the Garganroo, the Fossil Roo, and this song is also known as Ancient Passageway.
Like the entire thing of having this network of, it turns out roots from the Ifa tree, I believe. Yes. Yeah. Snaking all over the continent and having little carriages. Like that is another one that feels very fantasy series.
Yeah, like a part of it I was like, oh look, it's how convenient we can now go underground, a place that we couldn't see, and now go across the whole world. Thanks for making the quick travel interesting at least, but like this feels like it makes sense.
Well, I mean, since the overworld is covered in mist, I mean it makes sense to avoid it by going underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always something interesting. Like I compare it to Final Fantasy XIV, where you have the first being like covered in light for a century or so, and just all the different little ways that people adapt and make a life in this very harsh situation. It kind of reminds me of that. World covered in mist, so lots of airships, lots of underground tunnels. People moving between safe settlements and otherwise trying not to be caught outdoors.
All right, let's keep moving on.
What is that instrument?
I have no idea. But it's very interesting sounding. This is called Clara's Trunk.
Because again, switching back to one of the other parties.
Oh, this is one of the many moments where you're like split up.
Yep. So after our visit to Bermesia, we have now moved on to the other city of the rat folk, Clara.
Yep.
Which is cool because it's a tree full of sand. So it's a really interesting like dungeon design where it's all puzzle themed and puzzle based, but it's far enough in the game that you have to use all your skills, but it's still you're thinking more than you're just smashing X to get through. It's really fun. I remember this dungeon.
And yeah, the juxtaposition of like the tree, all the stuff like growing, life, and then sand, the desert, like this stuff that's associated with like this parched, lifeless thing. Having the two together was so surreal and strange.
Very strange. A lot of fun though. Again, this is
Yeah.
one of my favorite dungeons in this game, just because it's so weird.
And the music fits because it's so atmospheric. It kind of blends in with this really odd desertscape / dungeony root tree thing. It's just really weird.
Oh, those little stings there.
And it kind of just
Yeah, the whole echoey
back.
reverberation thing just adds this otherworldly quality to it.
Until we actually arrive at Clara.
Much better.
A little bit more of a positive vibe.
Yeah. At the top of that tree, we have blooming, lush life. We have the sun shining down. You're living up in the canopy of the tree. This is a pleasant place.
And the music is a lot more airy to kind of go with that.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like the little pipe organy calliope thing without all the different drums and things going with it.
Yeah, this is a happy place.
Where things are just a little bit relaxed.
Yeah, you want to talk moments of respite?
But there's still something in the background that maybe doesn't quite resonate right.
Like, it's nice, but it's also like this kind of simplistic nice. And we've already seen with the complexity of the world that we're in here, with all those other ones, how long can we expect something pleasant and simple like this to persist?
Not as long as we'd like, but that's not the correct answer either.
Never as long as we'd like.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. Yeah, this kind of has a little bit of a ritual sound to it.
Yeah. It made me think a little bit of like a river dance type thing, which the dancing done along with it definitely fit with that.
So, a little bit different. This is called Eternal Harvest, and it plays when Freya is performing the ritual dance to strengthen the sandstorm surrounding Clara.
Yeah. Of course, Clara, with the sand in the tree, there's actually a sandstorm that acts as a natural barrier. And given once Freya is able to arrive, makes the report of what's been happening, they decide this is a really good time to make that barrier a bit better. And yeah, definitely there's like, it really did remind me of kind of like a river dance or some type of Irish step dance thing with all the rats, ratfolk, Freya included, moving through these complex things.
Yeah.
Oh.
Beautiful dance. All right.
So of course, with this defensive measure in place, everything goes great.
As usual, nothing goes wrong.
No. Because this is called Mourning the Sky. Because the harp used on the ritual dance shattered.
Definitely not a terrible omen.
This also plays in the final battle, before the final battle of Beatrix, when the party visits Cid after the Battle of Lindblom.
This is the sad song.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot
This
of
is
other
the sad
things.
song.
There's a lot of other things that happen where this song plays. So this is kind of a, oh shit.
Yeah. Mourning the Sky is an especially appropriate name because in so many of those situations, it is after Alexandria's airship fleet has taken position in the sky and called forth some type of an eidolon that has laid waste to the countryside around. In the case of Clara, we see a great light in this as the sky practically opens up, and Odin charges through it. Not like your typical going along thing, but like charging straight downward, sword outstretched, to slice through the trunk of the great tree of Clara. Nothing remains of the tree after that, if I remember correctly.
Yep,
or like just
gone.
Yeah. The entire tree from stem to stern cleaved in twain.
No, we should have danced harder. Damn you, Sir Michael Flatley, why did you leave?
But yes, this is a thing that plays in the wreckage. In the wreckage of what? It varies, but in the wreckage. Sometimes in the wreckage of your ideals, as in like stuff with Beatrix.
Well, also the Vivi getting upset with Kuja for the death of all the black mages. Like, this is where he's having that like existential crisis of what am I?
Right.
It's playing during that. I think it plays during a scene with Aiko as well later on, like disc 4.
Loss of
Yes.
Mog.
Is it Mog? Okay.
Yeah.
I remember hearing it with Aiko. I don't remember what, because I'm going to be real, the back half of that game, I kind of just played through in the course of like a day, powered by caffeine, so I don't remember a lot of it.
All right, and this is the final song on this disc. You thought what happened before was bad? Our favorite little colorful jester
Jesters?
twins
Yeah.
are at this point trying to extract Garnet's eidolons.
So, I've mentioned a couple times with this whole thing of like, hey, going from like a lot of this futuristic, technological, or cyberish, whatever type stuff, back to these traditional fantasy roots. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this sequence, which involves some of those more technology, using this technique to extract this stuff from her, the one that sounds almost like a kind of scientific technological breakthrough, is the one that has this really uncomfortable otherworldly aspect to it, the one that's like, and now we're perverting the laws of nature. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Oh.
Great way to end disc 2, huh?
Dun dun dun.
Oh yeah, Pyrocats mentions it feeling very battle or ritual based, and yeah, I would say ritual. It does have like kind of that, especially songs like that. The dun 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 dun.
Mm-hmm.
Like it kind of feels like, and bring forth the chalice. So yeah, something not great is going down here.
Yeah. But, I mean, music is still really banger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. 9 is definitely one of the best soundtracks. I was at a party this afternoon, and Pyrocats mentions, like, oh, yeah, we're still doing Final Fantasy IX music. And one of the people who's hosting the party, I was like, oh, my God, the battle music. And it's like, he doesn't really play Final Fantasy. He doesn't listen to the podcast. But, like, even he's like, no, 9 was solid. 9 has very solid music.
Like the ones that make me uncomfortable or upset are at points where I'm supposed to be uncomfortable or upset.
Emotional response through storytelling.
Not all stories are happy ones.
Uematsu was a master of evoking the proper emotions.
And that's why he still gets called to do stuff. That's why, like, even though we have, Mitsuda and Koji and like everybody else doing stuff now, we still go, no, I still want Uematsu to do music if he can.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of people that he could pass the torch on to, for which we do have a lot of good promise and the like. But also, yes, like there is a reason he remains like one of the big masters.
And why he keeps getting called in to handle things like the theme from Final Fantasy VII Remake. He's kicking in stuff for 14 still. I'm sure he's working on some special stuff for 16. Yeah.
He assisted with the Pixel remaster retouches for all the songs in that.
You absolutely know he's going to go until the day he dies and possibly a little beyond that.
So it is nice to see that he's doing it on his terms now.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't have like, you have to be here 5 days a week to do all these things and make these tracks and on these timelines. It's like, I'm Nobuo Uematsu. I will send you music and you make a game about it. And Square Enix is like, that sounds legit. We can do that.
Definitely.
Hasn't steered us wrong yet.
I mean, realistically, if you just go, okay, here's what we're doing. We need an artist, and we need a guy to make music, and we need a guy to make video game, and we need a guy to tell a story. Run through Square Enix. You have a choice of 3 to 4 people for every single one of those roles, and there's no version of that group that will ever be boring. You might get some flub games. Like,
you're going to get some weird experimental stuff at some points.
But at the same time, like, you might get the 4 Heroes of Light on 3DS, which was the job-based Final Fantasy hat-switching game that was, like, episode 0 of Bravely Default. Like, you might get that. You might also get Final Fantasy IX. You might also get 14 1.0. You might also get 13.3. Or you never know what you're going to get, but there's no version of that core group, that like ace 4 to 6 people on a game title, that are going to make something bad. They're going to make something weird, but they're not going to make something bad.
Well, that's yet to be determined. We'll have to see what Stranger of Paradise really ends up being, but...
True. Or Mystic Quest, as Ravenheart says. Yeah, sometimes you just get, like I said, weird. Not a bad game, just weird.
Yeah.
Might get some saga games.
Thing. Especially as we have more of the like games as art, it's like you get experimental with your art. You start saying, okay. Like I always like to talk. I've been talking a bit actually this week. It came up twice. Like Piet Mondrian, who did the things with like the lines with like the rectangles where a couple of them were colored. It started as, okay, let's make a picture of this. Okay, if we take this out, do people still recognize it as a picture of this? What if we take this out? How much can we strip it down and still have it somehow be conveying this essence of something or another? And it's like the paintings, like on their own, it's like, okay, it's a bunch of rectangles, cool. But as part of this story of like, hey, what is this idea? What does it really mean? You can get into some really weird stuff there. It's pretty cool.
Art is fun.
Art is so weird. It's
art
great.
is fun.
You know, that actually kind of reminds me of there was another game that was announced during Square Enix Presents. It was basically just like a dungeon game. That basically the most of the gameplay they showed was you're walking along this map and trying to open up the entirety of the dungeon.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with that one, but I am weirdly intrigued.
There's a lot of different things within the RPG genre that are in this game still, but they've stripped away a lot of the UI elements. They've stripped away, certain portions of, the deck, maybe the surroundings of the dungeon that you're actually trawling through, but you still have battles, you still have treasure, you still have, you're still gaining levels and experience and things like that. So, I mean, how far can you take things away from an RPG before you start to really affect its, the effect on you?
Yeah.
Kind of a lot.
Playability.
It's kind of a lot.
Hang on. Spender had actually a pretty good comment about this when we were discussing it before. Where do you say?
What was the title of that game, by the way? The one from TGS that you were just mentioning?
Dungeon something or other. I don't remember.
Dungeon Encounters.
That's the one.
Hey, about that thing we were talking about earlier, where sometimes games have really stupid names.
Yeah,
But that's
one of them.
That's a game that's going to be available on the 14th of October.
Here, I can't believe they came out with a game that made Unlimited Saga look next gen. Between this and Yoko Taro's card battle game, I'm like, was there some kind of tabletop themed game jam at SE during the pandemic?
Yeah,
probably.
It does look very tabletop. It looks like a character walking on top of one of those D&D battle maps that you have sprawled out on the table.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's all there's going to be to it, which makes me wonder, okay, how are they tweaking or messing around with this?
As somebody that loves cartography as a hobby, I'm like, please don't suck. Please be interesting.
Well,
I'm never going to get anything fun to do with this hobby other than study geology. So, like, please be fun.
I'm
please
betting
be
it's not
interesting.
going to be a full $60 game, so you might be able to get it pretty inexpensively. So
at this point, I'm just used to spending too much money on games. I'm over it. I'm just going to spend too much money, and I'm going to be upset sometimes and excited the rest, and I'll be fine.
All right. Now,
game pricing is a thing that we could spend an entire episode on and not get anywhere. So
exactly. I was contemplating if we wanted to discuss some of the job changes coming up for the new expansion, but I'm not sure this is really the right place to talk about that.
Let's save that for later.
I'm not even sure that it's something we'll even talk about, really.
Yeah, like
we will talk about it in 7 weeks when we try all of our level 71 jobs. We go, what in the metric bejesus hell is this bullshit, and why does nothing work?
Sometimes it's better to understand those types of changes by experiencing them.
For those of you who are interested in that kind of thing, there's lots of info going around. I would not feel comfortable about attempting to speculate and say, oh, this definitely means such and such on something I haven't even played, but the info exists. If you are interested in it, go forth and do your thing.
It's honestly one of the things that I think is the least interesting to discuss.
Yeah.
The theory crafting of, what these, figuring out what the changes are going to do.
Like, it's interesting, but it doesn't make good radio.
We're all going to just hit buttons and until we can do the most damage we can.
It doesn't make good radio.
Pretty much. Seyrr and I can definitely attest, when Warrior got completely redone at the start of Stormblood, we all started looking at Paladin real hard and Dark Knight because, like, Warrior was completely unplayable. By the end of Stormblood, it was just completely unbalanced. And so we were like, I don't know how to play this game, and I'm playing it right now. I cannot talk about it if I can't figure out how it's working.
I stuck with it in part just because of the whole class fantasy of it was something that appealed to me, but was I tempted a few times.
I will say
I was about ready to just piece the fuck out almost immediately.
For those of you out there who are interested in talking about it, come to the Discord.
Come to the Discord. We'll talk about it.
We can talk about it in the Final Fantasy XIV channels. It's definitely something that we're interested in talking with you about. We just don't think that it's going to be something that's interesting. I don't know if you really want to hear us talking about it.
It makes good, like, chat room and discussion forum type thing, fodder. It doesn't work for radio.
Unless we were really into the theory crafting side of the game.
Even if we were into it, I don't know that it's interesting to listen to a couple people yammer on about it.
That's a future us problem. For now, we good.
Yep.
Fuck future us.
But for now, that's going to do it for this episode. If you liked what you heard, please make sure to like, subscribe, or follow us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We are on Spotify, Podbean. We're on Amazon. Basically, any of whatever your preferred podcatcher is. And if possible, leave us a rating or review. It helps other people find our show and lets us know how we're doing. If you're really digging the show, please consider subscribing here at twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio, where you'll get access to a number of subscriber-only emotes and badges. Or you can support us out on Patreon at patreon.com/PhoenixDownRadio, like our benevolent overlord Aurori Fenrir or our shadowy foreign investor Tibiant Salts. All proceeds go towards growing the show and cover hosting costs, allow us to improve and upgrade equipment, as well as do things like contests and giveaways. But any kind of support, whether it's emails, likes, tweets or retweets, follows, subs, donations, whatever, It's always greatly appreciated because we just love interacting with you guys and the rest of the community. If you want to check out our backlog of episodes, go to our website, phoenixstormradio.com. There's only 150 some different episodes you can go and listen to, as well as a few articles when we actually had time to write articles.
We had articles?
Back in the very beginning, we were able to write up news articles and stuff like that. Seyrr's done a couple of things.
It was a different time when there was time.
When there was time, yes. I mean, if it ever got to be where I could, maybe if we could get a social media person, we could give them the access and have them put that type of stuff up for us. But right now, I don't have time to do that.
Feature us.
Man, we are dumping so many problems on Feature Us.
Oh, poor Feature Us.
That's fine.
I think that's going to be a future Marvelous thing, actually.
It's actually probably. I was going to say, like, are we talking about this after the show? Because it feels like we're talking about this after the show.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you have questions, comments, ideas for the show, or just want to say hi, you can email us at podcast@phoenixstormradio.com. You can always check out our Twitter at PHXDNradio. And if you don't happen to catch the videos live on twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio, you can always go out to youtube.com/PhoenixDownRadio, where we upload all of our episodes video form, and basically just like you would have seen it on Twitch.
You could have seen the taco break sign.
You could have seen the taco break sign. But if you're just listening on the podcast, we do appreciate that too. So.
Fantastic idea. Let's have a taco break. Until next. I was going to say next week, but week after next?
Well, he's out of tacos, apparently. So no taco break for you. So how about a shout out instead?
The tragedy of no tacos.
Shout out to tacos.
Makes you weep.
What else would you like to shout out? Who wants to go first?
I got you. I'm going to shout out friend of the podcast, Angela, who had an awesome birthday today. So happy birthday to her. That was super cool. Shout outs to the awesome people at Scarecrow Video who keep a awesome video library as a nonprofit of a lot of amazingly excellent film. Some of it's rental by approval, some of it's rent by deposit, some of it's really hard to find and really cool to get a part of, and some of it's garbage like FFU. But shout outs to them for having a good library for me to collect from. Also, shout-outs to Pyrocats, who is continually amazing in their ability to make gear outside of game. They have continued to make cool stuff that they were wearing today. So, if you want to get a hold of me and harass me on social media, it's really difficult because I'm basically never on it other than as a troll. But you can find me on Instagram or on TikTok at Marvelous Tofu. You'll know it's me because my hair is green in most of the stuff that I post.
Cool. Seyrr?
All right. I feel like a lot of the ones I'm thinking of are people that I shout out all the time, and I want to spread the love around a little bit. So you know what? This time around, shout out to the Sacramento Public Library for having all 5 volumes of Modernist Bread, only one of which was checked out by someone else. So I now have like a literal 15 pounds of books on how to make fancy bread.
Woo, bread.
There's an entire thing about fermentation in here. There are graphs.
Okay, so we're not going to see Seyrr for about 2 weeks.
Seyrr's a nerd, confirmed.
Oh God, I need a proper kitchen scale.
You can get them pretty cheap on Amazon.
No, I already have a couple things I know stores where I can get them. I'm probably putting it in order after this. Anyway, so shout out to the Sacramento Public Library and in fact the entire Link Plus library system for making resources like this available all across the California, Nevada area. Same system that let me get all of those Final Fantasy Lost Stranger manga. Good stuff.
Very good stuff.
Support your local library. You can find me on Twitter at FF14Seyrr. That's FFXIVSEYRR. You can also find me on the Discord, where I am usually paying attention to the shenanigans going on there. And I will pretty much chat with anyone about anything. I am a librarian. I like getting people information. It is the entire reason I exist and have way too much in student loans.
Checks out.
Checks out.
He's a librarian. He checks it out.
Technically, I don't. My time is worth too much for that. The clerks usually handle that. I felt so weird. The first time I was told that, like, no, you won't be shelving books. Your time is too valuable for that. Like,
Weird.
it's technically right, but it also feels so unegalitarian.
So where can people find you on the internet?
He already said.
I told them. The Twitter, the Discord. We posted it in the thing. It's FF14 Seyrr. FFXIVSEYRR.
Taliz doesn't
I just wanted to see if you still had the script figured out, locked down in your head.
And for some reason, I want to shout out these two yahoos again. Thank you so much for being a part of this show, making it so it's not just me yammering on aimlessly for hours and hours at a time, because I probably would. You keep me in check, and I appreciate that. Shout out to my buddy who I helped build their computer this last weekend. That was a lot of fun. We went out, we found some, we ate some cool food, we drank some cool beer, and we built a really cool computer. So, as well as it was an opportunity for me just to get away for a weekend and relax a bit. So it's always an important bit. And if you want to follow me out on Twitter, you can find me at PHXDN_KLAUSS. So, for my co-hosts, Seyrr Tomono, for Taliz Marvelous, I'm Klauss Nightberg, and wishing everybody a wonderful evening. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you later. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/GuiltyGearRockYou. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.